Today, we are diving deep into a topic that honestly doesn't get nearly enough attention: solar cable management. And look, I get it, it's not the most glamorous part of a solar install, but it is absolutely critical for the safety and, of course, the efficiency of your entire system. We're going to find out why getting your wiring right is about so much more than just making things look pretty.
And that right there, that really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? You see all these pictures of systems with just a jungle of wires, and yeah, it looks disorganized, but the real issue is the invisible danger that's literally lurking in that mess. This isn't about looking good, this is about preventing catastrophic failure and even fire.
So here's our game plan. First, we're going to look past the whole tidy appearance thing to get what the real risks are. Then we'll dig into the unseen electrical dangers, the core safety rules behind them, and then, the good part, a practical 7-step action plan you can actually use. And we'll wrap up by looking at what it means to build a system that's truly safe for the long haul. You know, you go online and you see a ton of guys showing you how to neatly route your cables and zip tie everything down. And the final product looks so clean, right? But that's only half the story. The most important stuff is often what they don't even mention. This right here shows the huge disconnect. On the left, you've got the common focus. Make it look tidy, use some zip ties, route the cables. Simple. But the critical reality on the right is what's really at stake. We're talking serious fire hazards, power loss from something called voltage drop, the risk of wires rubbing raw and insulation just failing from heat. That's the stuff that actually matters. All right, so let's pull back the curtain on these hidden dangers. These aren't just hypotheticals. These are specific, real-world risks that proper professional cable management is designed to stop in its tracks. First on the list is abrasion, or chafing. Just imagine a cable resting on the sharp metal edge of a solar panel rack. Over time, with wind and temperature changes, that cable vibrates and shifts, slowly sawing away at its protective coating. Once that insulation is gone, you've got a live wire exposed, and that is a perfect recipe for a short circuit and, you guessed it, a fire. Next up, let's talk about heat, specifically thermal breakdown. Your high-current DC cables, they generate heat all on their own. Now, if you bundle them too tightly together, or run them through a hot attic, or right against a sun-baked roof, that heat has nowhere to go. The insulation can literally cook until it becomes brittle and cracks, once again exposing the live conductor inside. Oh man, this is such a classic mistake. We all reach for zip ties to make things look neat. But if you crank them down with all your might, you can actually crush the delicate copper strands inside the wire. This creates a tiny bottleneck, a point of high resistance. And that bottleneck does two bad things. It generates a ton of extra heat, and it literally chokes off the flow of power, making your whole system less efficient. Okay, so we've seen the dangers. But to really get ahead of them, we need to understand the why. The fundamental safety principles that are the bedrock of every single good wiring practice. Let's talk about voltage drop for a second. The easiest way to think about it is like water pressure in a really, really long garden hose. By the time the water gets to the end, the pressure is lower, right? Well, in an electrical wire, that drop in pressure doesn't just disappear. It gets converted directly into heat. So the longer your cable run or the more current you push through it, the more energy you lose as waste heat. And managing that is absolutely key for safety and performance. And you can see how all these things are connected. Longer cables mean more voltage drop, which means more heat. Sharp bends or kinks in a wire put physical stress on it, increasing resistance and the risk of a short. And poor labeling, well, that's just setting up a dangerous situation for whoever has to work on the system later. Even bundling has a purpose beyond looks. Doing it right can cut down on electrical noise. All right, enough theory, enough doom and gloom about the risks. Let's get practical. Let's talk solutions. Here is a super clear 7-step plan that you can follow to manage your cables the right way, the safe way. Okay, let's walk through this. Step 1 is just planning. Think before you pull the wire. Where are the hot spots? Where are the sharp edges? Avoid them. Step 2, group your cables logically. Step 3, use the right gear, like conduit or special clips, to protect against that rubbing we talked about. Step 4 is strain relief. That just means leaving a little service loop of extra cable at your connections, so they don't get pulled tight and break. Step 5, secure your cables gently. Don't murder them with the zip ties. Step 6, label everything. Trust me, future you will be so grateful. And finally, step 7, inspect your work. After it's all done, check for any rubbing and carefully feel for any hot spots. So you do all that work. What's the big payoff? Well, it's really about a shift in mindset. It's about seeing cable management not as some annoying chore you do at the end, but as a core part of building a quality system that's designed to last for decades. And listen, If you take only one thing away today, please let it be this. This is the whole ballgame. Every single decision you make when you're running a wire, it has to be guided by safety and reliability first, not just how it's going to look when you're done. And the benefits of doing it right are just huge. You get a system that actually produces the power it's supposed to year in and year out. You get a safe installation that protects your house, your property, your investment. Down the road, maintenance becomes way easier and safer for everyone. And maybe most importantly, you get peace of mind. You know the job was done right.
So I'll leave you with this question to chew on. Take a hard look at your own system or the one you're planning to build. Are you just aiming for it to look tidy? Or are you actively building in those layers of protection that create a solar power system that is truly, genuinely safe and reliable? Because at the end of the day, that difference is everything.